fearful of sharing our traumas, fearful of being, vulnerable, honest. There have to be safe people and safe spaces for us to continue evolving. If you're trapped, it's like energy, it's like water, it's like anything. It needs to flow, right? When you turn on the faucet, if there's no flow, what happens? A flood happens, right? There's too much water and now it's overflowing and destroying everything around it. Emotions are the same, energy is the same, trauma is the same. So if you have a demographic of people and you're not allowing their traumas to process, there's a blockage. There's a blockage of energy. And what happens when you have too much blocked, we try not to judge and call things positive or negative, but for lack of a better term, let's call it difficult energy. When you have too much blocked and trapped difficult energy, it overflows. It destroys everything around it. So that's kind of the update. Chicago police have again been incredibly disappointing to deal with. I try so hard to defend you guys. I swear I do. I have gotten into so many, really heated debates about the police, about underserved communities, about racism, about hatred, about all sorts of shit, okay? And I'm not talking about just regular racism like, that we're used to dealing with. I'm talking about extortion racism, like immigrants coming over here without papers and being pulled over, and rather than the law saying, okay, look, we were doing 2 miles over the limit, I understand you're late to work and you work for below minimum wage, I'm gonna throw you a bone here. They'll say something like, follow me, we're going to your bank. You're going to empty your bank account, or I'm going to take you to prison and deport you. This is the type of racist, and that's not the only type. There's several types. But more so than racist policing is political policing, where they get their finger on someone that is trapped, who's literally having their neck stepped on because they don't have papers, because they don't speak the language, because they don't have advocacy. And they take advantage. And like I said before, I have stood up for law enforcement so many times. There was this whole movement, Back the Blue. How can I believe in a group of people who don't come when I call 911? How can I trust a badge that literally says protect and serve on it when they've left an entire section of people exposed, unprotected, and unserved? I can't. So I'm not saying I hate the police, and I'm not even NWAing it. I'm just saying I can't stand up for you guys anymore if every time I'm being violently assaulted, you're a no-show. I mean, is that not fair? In addition to that, if you guys go to my live from a week ago, you can see I called the FBI local field office right here on Roosevelt Road. That's the same field office I've been using to report. And I'm not an informant. I have no cases. I have no criminal record. I've never been involved in a criminal investigation before. But I know people who have. So I tried calling this field office when I stopped getting responses from CPD. If I have police reports on file for being raped since 2016-17 time, and I call and a detective answers and I say, hey, where are we in this case? Has any progress been made? Have you guys even compared notes with the other towns? And the detectives respond, no, you don't know. How can I have faith in your organization? I cannot, is the answer. So I just like to leave that completely out from now on. If you're going to continue to throw me into positions and take away my weapons for self-protection, and also take away the ability to call law enforcement if I'm being assaulted, this is very realistically Gog of Magog. This is a scorched earth scenario. There is no, there is no legislation, there is no order, law, justice, any of that. And if there is, I welcome you to point me in its direction, because as I said, this has been going on for me since early 2015 or 16. I've been separated from my 3 children who I've raised since their days of birth, respectively, since January of 2020. Separated meaning we don't live together, but I still to this day see them whenever, May 16th, I went to take my youngest to the park. Her father said, she's got a dance recital coming up. Can you go? I said, of course I'll be there. I never miss it. 2 days later, he called me on the phone, and it's the same situation I explained to you guys. It's the voice of my father. It's the voice of her father. It's not the cadence. It's not the dialect, and it's not the vibe. So it feels as though someone has auto-tuned their voices, but is using another person to communicate, and the things they say are not real. As I've said to you guys a million times, I am very blessed to have a father who, even though he has barely no money, lives in a tiny apartment, cannot support me and is physically disabled, he would never say, you can't live here. If my father, and I've said this before, if my father lived in a fucking refrigerator box on the side of the road, he'd be like, there's a room for you here. Wherever I am, you can be. That's my father. That's a real parent. And I've been very blessed, to have that kind of love in my life. My father hasn't said that to me. My father said the opposite. You can't come here. My father would never, hear my words, he would never, ever. So I want to leave it at that, because there are people doing meetings here. It was quiet until now. I don't want to monopolize the airspace, but it needed to be said and it needed to be documented. And again, if there's anything you guys can do to help, if there are any resources that you're aware of, any programs, career placement, like I said, besides marketing, social media management, small business development, healthcare administration. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a fitness background, fitness and nutrition. Any kind of work you guys have. And that's what I was bringing up also. I've been watching a lot of these DIYs from the dollar store. So if you'd like to have your door front decorated for Halloween, I can do so for $100, an entire door front. And that's the walkway, the supplies, the labor, and the work. And that's what I was doing at the dollar store last week when that woman came up behind me, and Xavier, and was playing my voice on audio. I filed a police report, and she goes, yeah, you're being followed, you're being stalked. And I said, who are you? And she said, I just wanted you to know that you are being followed. And Xavier goes, do you work for Google? And she goes, no, I don't work for Google, but she's definitely being followed. It's a bunch of really ignorant behaviors that are incredibly predatory and that I can't, explain. So it is terrifying. But you guys all have a great day. Thank you for listening. If you made it this entire time, I owe you $5. As painful as it is for you to hear, it's equally as painful for me to say. Xavier did steal the payment that his father gave me, so if anyone wants to, send anything, please use the Cash App. It's $Heather GoPro Solo. Again, the money will be being used to replace my space to sleep, so a tent, a birthday gift for my daughter, glasses, a couple other things that I need to pay, and that I'm owed. This is not money that I'm asking or begging for. Xavier's father agreed to repay me for the thousands of dollars I spent putting his son inside of an Airbnb and feeding and taking care of his son in the winter months. But yeah, Cash App. Thank you guys so much. I hope everyone has a great day. And if there's anything going on in your city, if your law enforcement is being unresponsive, if there are groups of people dedicated to targeting and slandering the innocent, please point them out. Because I have an entire team who's ready to not only charge, but also apprehend.